As unrest rises in the Middle East, the Pentagon reveals a U.S. naval destroyer took missiles heading to Israel. The USS Carney was in Egypt's Suez Canal when it took out the barrage of enemy fire in a span of just 9 hours. Kirk Lippold is the former Navy commander of the USS Cole, and he joins us now. Commander, thank you so much for joining us. I was trying to figure this out before you came on. Do you know, is USS Carney a part of the 26th MEU that was just brought up through the canal?
That I don't know if it is or not. Typically, if a destroyer is assigned to a MEU, they tend to stay close by simply because they want to be able to protect that force.
Tell us what this looks like. We're talking about drones, which is relatively new technology, but it's an aircraft that has the capability to hurt or destroy something. They sometimes aren't flying very fast. What type of weapons capabilities does a destroyer have to combat these new technologies?
Well, with the technologies, the Aegis weapon system, specifically the spy radar, which the Carney has, which was the same as my ship USS Cole had, is designed to be able to pick up these small targets. And then you have a variety of weapons. They could have used anything from 5-inch gun, which is probably the most likely. It's doubtful they would use surface-to-air missiles, but if it got in close, they could even use the 20-millimeter close-in weapon system.
When we see this, you know, the report is, I believe it was 15 drones, 4 cruise missiles. The report doesn't seem to suggest they were fired at the ship or even the fleet, the U.S. fleet, but possibly in Israel. But is this considered a direct U.S. engagement? Do we need to look at this and say, hey, the United States is at war?
I wouldn't say that, Joey. I think at this point, thankfully, first and foremost is commend the crew of the USS Carney for the great job in intercepting those 4 missiles and those 15 drones. The fact that it came in over a period of time, clearly that ship and the commanding officer was given the rules of engagement necessary to ensure it. The other thing is when missiles are coming towards you, you don't want to sit and say, geez, we don't know where they're going. Let's hesitate and wait. And at the last minute, suddenly that missile picks you up as the radar target instead of its ultimate target and decides to change course, and you have to be in a very reactive mode. The fact that Carney was proactive in doing this, saw them, detected them, and engage them really is a credit to the training of the crew and how well they've done it.
Yeah, the rules of engagement is such a good point because we don't know what our involvement is going to look like, what orders have been brought down to the chain of command as far as supporting the Israeli Defense Force in their active offensive operations. But when we look at the totality of U.S. forces that will be essentially off the coast of Israel, we're talking about 2 aircraft carrier groups as well as this MEU, smaller ships, but a lot of capabilities. When we bring that contingent together, United States military off the coast of Israel, or off the coast there, is there a more capable contingent of military anywhere in the world than what we have right there at that moment?
Actually, no, Joey. Yeah. And that's one of the great things is having those 2 aircraft carrier strike groups off the coast really serves as a deterrent and stabilizing force. It allows us to be able to tell, first and foremost, Iran, that if you push and if you engage with all your other proxy forces and they take a shot at Israel or they begin to engage on multiple fronts, or if they engage U.S. naval forces, then we reserve the right first and foremost for self-defense, then if necessary to project power as necessary to protect the United States national security interests, and then do that in coordination with what Israel is doing as they prepare for the ground invasion into Gaza.
Your expertise is unmatched. We really, really enjoy having you on because these are questions that a lot of Americans don't know. Our Navy is something to be so proud of, and it's so great to hear, unfortunately, a success story in time of war. Thank you so much for your service. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Joey.
Yes, sir.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.